Hey there, White Sox fans. My name is Brett Ballantini, hosting, lucky enough to host. Sox Populi on the farm. We're hitting the farm. Nobody's wearing any farm gear. That could go White Sox affiliates or, a straw hat, overalls. Uh, some of us are rural, so I don't know why we're not wearing our farm gear. Hey, you know what? We never really wrapped up last year. I think we were just worn down and fatigued. The Birmingham Barons won a second straight Southern League title. Other seasons wrapped up, and we just decided not to do a podcast. So apologies for any of you who are still waiting. And it's like, oh man, 65's here. I can hear about what happened and how things wound up in 2025 in the with the affiliates. I'm sorry, I don't think we're going to brush up on that. Maybe one day we'll record a fake 64B podcast that will address the Southern League Championship and other things. But for now, we're going to jump right into the exciting 2026 season for the affiliates. Joining me on this podcast is Joe Kiang-Resis, who is he's a minors guy like we all are, but he does our weekly wraps and our monthly wraps. He's just done monthly wraps that consisted of players of the month. He can shout out his players of the month. I'm not going to give him any more credit than I've already given him because he's awesome. And it just gets tedious lauding Joe Kiang-Resis every single time we do a podcast. He shows up, he gets laudatory comments. Melissa Sage Bolenbach, battling allergies to some degree, not as bad as the absent Christina Erdo, who is bowed out, I believe, of this podcast. Maybe she'll jump in. Maybe she will clear the sinuses and jump in for part of this. And of course, Hannah Filippo as well, our Friday night minors recapper, etc. Everyone has opinions about this fine system the White Sox are running these days. We're just going to sort of go from top to bottom, I think, with the affiliates. Because guess what? Starting with Charlotte isn't so painful. I mean, it's still sort of painful. It's still weird. But Charlotte, 16 and 17 in sixth place of 10 teams in the International League division they're in. I don't know if it's the North, whatever it's called. East, I don't know, whatever it is. Sixth place. But here's the thing, they are tied for the best run differential. They have a plus 33 run differential. They should be a really good team. They should be like a first place team. Chad Pinder, is it Chad Pinder? Whoever it is, whoever they decided to dump Sergio Santos for. You got to do a better job managing. You got a run differential plus 33. I understand things got very thrown off with the game. Oh, I don't know where they won 21-1 or something. All right, so I'll rescind my call for the manager at Charlotte to be fired, but still, come on, shape up. You got a plus run differential and you're worse than 500. You're in the middle of the pack in your division in the National League. Shape up, Charlotte, especially because there are some pretty outstanding players. Some actually who came up through the White Sox system. So something's really, listen, if you're a White Sox fan right now, I understand if you feel untethered. I don't even know why I'm podcasting. Am I even recording? Because I don't know who I am as a White Sox fan at this point. We're deep into the 2020s, and the White Sox seem to be doing some things right and having some success. Clearly, the sky will fall soon, but it's good we're recording this at this point because we have three affiliate teams doing pretty well, including Charlotte, basically at 500. Impressions from the field here on Charlotte, and I guess forget impressions of the field. I don't want to hear what you think about the field. Let's talk about Braden Montgomery getting called up to Charlotte, having a season that is maybe better than anticipated. In particular, still whiffs a bit, but he's tightened that up with walks. Pitchers are scared of him, or he's getting more selective. And let's face it, on the White Sox, it's not going to stand out if he whiffs a ton. That's sort of what they do. So he may be ready for the South Side sooner than we think. Braden Montgomery coming up to Charlotte. Reactions first off. Melissa, you're allowed to speak first because that's your unofficial guy, but maybe he's all of our unofficial guys because
I
we
was gonna
love
let
him.
other people go because I was like, I'm always the Braden person, but I will be the Braden person.
Fine, do it.
I mean, it's so ironic that they called him up today because I'm literally like typing, and I know Hannah too, like doing my notes, and like, why is Braden Montgomery not up yet? And like, I was thinking, well, maybe he's just gonna go straight to Chicago. Like that was my thing because I was like, I mean, the
They
kid,
do
he's
that.
he has he let's see, he hit 12 home runs last year. He has six already. Like that's like some power is coming up. And we know that the double A pitching, he's smashing it. He's like second in batting average, second in RBI, fourth in runs. I mean, he's up there. And so I'm shocked it took this long. He probably, I mean, I probably would have called him up a couple of weeks ago to Charlotte, but I don't think he's going to last. If he, I mean, we know how hitting goes in Charlotte, so I don't anticipate that he's going to be in Charlotte very long. I think he's going to be coming up sooner rather than later, which means that we can get rid of Luis Angel Acuna. Sorry, buddy, like the experiment needs to be over. Um,
Wow.
but like, gotta
Harsh.
go. And Braden, my boy, he's coming. He's coming.
All right. Johanna, I suppose you're both pleased with this. I mean, there could have been a setback season, and so far it has been anything but that for Braden.
Yeah, I'm very excited. He has been answering the call. Yeah, been a very strong start to the season for Montgomery. And I am very excited to see what he does in Charlotte. Yeah, Birmingham is often a very tough place for hitters.
Yeah.
He survived what is a roadblock for many, many White
Yep.
Sox prospects.
Yep.
We've seen hitters with, some good talent really get stuck there and haven't really been
Hmm.
able to clear that bar. He cleared that one fairly easily. And he will be joining a Knights offense that just scored 56 this week. So yeah, that will be very good. Um, Yeah, I'm very excited to see what he pulls off. But yeah, certainly one of the better storylines of the organization so far.
Yeah, double A is where players hit ceilings no matter anyway, but hitters in particular with Birmingham, yeah, that's where they go to die. I think Wilfred Veras is maybe trying to jump in the trunk as Braden gets in the car to drive east because he's been there for like 8 years and he's really eager because I'm sure he'd like, he'd go to Charlotte and he'd sort of explode because he's got power. Hannah, I suppose you do not object to Braden Montgomery being in Charlotte.
Not at all. I was looking at I was trying to see how he compares to age-wise, and I was actually surprised to see that he's only like a year-ish younger than the average double A player, and he's only been in the system for a year and a half. So I think it just shows how desperate everybody is for a power hitter, an outfielder, and now that he's in Charlotte, I was trying to do the math. He's nearly 4 years younger than the average AAA player, so he's still very young, and it's very exciting to see how well he's doing at such a young age.
Yeah, he could be on the south side now if not for the injury that basically put him in a position to make his professional debut with the White Sox. He didn't play at all. Not that he necessarily would have after the draft with Boston, but he couldn't because of the bad injury he suffered as a prime NCAA player in a prime conference. So this is a guy who was ready to move fast, and we know that that doesn't always work out. In fact, oftentimes with our own draft choices, it doesn't work out, and that's just the way baseball goes. But it's nice to see. Um, well, I mean, we can call it fast tracking. This is pretty fast tracking, especially when we figure that Charlotte might just be a stepping stone. You don't really use AAA as a stepping stone often, but in this case, given the need, given the need in the White Sox outfield as well as they've been playing, I mean, close to 500 is we'll call that pretty well. Yeah, his outfield's still a disaster. I mean, anyway, that's a different podcast. Um, we got to move on to, I mean, listen, I could throw it to the field, but I'm sorry, I'm just going to dominate this podcast. Because we have to talk about a guy who's made an unbelievable turnaround. This guy was looking like, I won't say a bust of a first round draft pick, but he's beefed up, which is interesting for a shortstop. I believe his first game, I don't know, I think the first game I covered, he was playing first base. So I thought, okay, wait, is he beefed up to the point where he's a first baseman now? And why is this weak hitting shortstop now a first baseman? Well, I know now why, because Jacob Gonzalez is going ham on the International League. Through many measures, I'm going to use this as if it's almost like a running top 100. It's just Fangraphs, and it's just like probably one guy's opinion. I don't know what the metrics are, what the weird, goop they put into the system to like, but I'm going to say that Jacob Gonzalez is playing like the number 11 prospect in baseball because they have him ranked in their power rankings as 11th. And hard to say it's not deserved. He's mashed hell out of the ball. I'm going to guess I'm not the only one surprised.
Definitely not. Yeah, Gonzalez was very mediocre the past 2 years.
Yeah.
He had OPSs almost identical to each other in the mid 600s in both 24 and 25. He is just on a completely different level right now. I certainly did not see that coming. Yeah, I was someone who had really liked the pick when they made it, but entering this year and even entering 2025, I was like, okay, maybe I overestimated him a little bit. This could just be, also an example of, uh, the White Sox having a prospect with a high ceiling who they just couldn't develop properly. But I mean, yeah, he's got an OPS in the high 900s right now, which is crazy, considering the level he's been operating at the past couple of years. Um, yeah, really a crazy first month of the season that Gonzalez had, and it will be interesting to see if he can keep it up. I do think his true ability right now is probably somewhere in between what we saw last year and what we've seen in the first month. But yeah, regardless, I am convinced he has made a pretty sizable step in the right direction.
Joe Kiang-Resis killing the buzz on Jacob Gonzalez. Hey, here's the thing. Back when we did things like live draft podcasts, uh, Tommy Barbie, Malachi Hayes, and I both, I think the best thing we did was laugh when the pick was announced. So we all underestimated Jacob Gonzalez and the need for that guy. So he's proven us wrong. I hope, maybe the 15 views of that are just every month Jacob Gonzalez watches that podcast and gets angry. Hey, happy to do it for you, Jacob. Um, other thoughts, Melissa and Hannah, on this guy? I mean, given the fact that there's a sort of like a log jam in the middle of the field, maybe it's good he plays first base. Log jam in the middle of the field. I mean, where are all these guys going to play? But oh man, what a nice problem to have. Or maybe they can all play outfield.
Well, that's why I was surprised because I looked and they have played him everywhere. He's played every infield position so far this spring, which I mean, it's good. So he's showing he could be like a super utility guy if we had him. He could play anywhere in the infield. But yeah, I mean, we do need outfielders. Oh, just kidding. So yeah, I think it's cool that they've tried him in lots of different places. So
The nine center fielder attack for the future Chicago White Sox. 2030 White Sox, nine center fielders, even pitching. Hannah, you pleased with what you've seen from
Yeah,
the
I,
number
I
11?
saw a podcast recently with Connor McKnight and Paul Janisch, hitting director, talking a bit about Jacob Gonzalez and the tweaks that they've made to help him, and definitely it's been paying off. I do kind of agree though with you, Joe, that I don't think it's sustainable as much as I would love to believe it. I'm a little apprehensive for such a hot start compared to last year, but hopefully I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong, but I'm gonna err on the side of caution with that. Either way, they need to figure out a place to put him at some point. Just I don't know, maybe first base, maybe he'll learn how to play catcher too. Who knows? But at this rate, they just need to just put people who can actually hit in place and worry about the position part later.
Yeah, it's great the Sox are like a couple games under 500. They need players. They need a lot. They need players. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, it's great they're in a crappy division again. It's just like, how is it ever not a crappy division, AL Central? But they need players. Okay, I'm going to run off some players, other ones who caught my eye, and each of you can either go off the board and say my picks are stupid, but these are guys I think we need to talk about before we wrap up Charlotte. Ben Peoples has seemed to be, and I might not even get these names right. I don't care. You can correct me or don't. I'm just a host of a podcast. I'm giddy because the White Sox are 2 games under 500. Ben Peoples out of the bullpen. Wickelman Gonzalez out of the bullpen. What the hell is going on? Hagen Smith might as well be going out of the bullpen. That's one that it's like great, but not there. The pitcher of the month, Joe. Your picks are much better. White Sox named Hagen Smith their pitcher of the month, and no diss on Hagen, but he's pitching 3 innings a start. I don't like that. Anyway, walking too many guys. I don't like that. Mario Camilletti, talk about a guy who should not even be in the system any longer. Mario Camilletti is playing very well, and not just because he just went 5 for 5, I think, last night. Mario Camilletti, man, you want to talk about Charlotte effect? Mario Camilletti. William Bergola is still hurt, but he got. I think he's still hurt, but I mean he did get hurt. Tough play in the outfield with the left fielder with Antonacci. He's just killing people to get ahead. He's gritty. He'll kill his teammates to get ahead. But incredible start from him. Rikuu Nishida, a guy who you thought might have been one of those guys who stalls at Double A, even though speed shouldn't stall, defense shouldn't stall. He's stalling not the best year last year, playing really well in AAA. Okay, those are the guys I'm throwing out as like sort of wow, what is going on? Charlotte has more than one or two good players. Any of those you want to pick up on, or somebody you wrote down? I know Melissa's probably got 10 pages of notes. Feel free to go off the board, or even if you're ticked at a guy, like, man, I really hate that this guy's really disappointing me. Before we wrap up Charlotte, let's talk about a few more guys.
I just think it's funny because Charlotte's usually like just, I don't know, there's not really usually like a ton of talent in Charlotte. It's more just like guys who are filling, places for injuries
Hey,
and stuff. And
Melissa, let me just say something. The last few years is like, you know what, Triple A. It's like not even a level anymore. It's like it doesn't mean anything. It's like a bunch of like old, it's like a bunch of softball beer leaguers. Now that it's a good team, we're going to be like, oh yeah, Triple A. Yeah, it's awesome that we got a Triple A team. But it's been the last few years been like, oh yeah, Triple A doesn't even matter anymore. You just call guys up from Double A. But I just had to interject that because it's like you're exactly right. Now we suddenly have players there. Sort of nice.
it's very nice because like I had everybody that you mentioned and I had more people.
Sure.
Caden Connor's doing well, David Sandlin, who we got from Boston. So like there's more than just warm bodies to me, which is really
Mhm.
exciting. And for once, I feel like if we do get some injuries here and there, it won't be like a catastrophe or fingers crossed. Anyway,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that, I had the only other person I also had on my list besides the ones you called out was Drew Baker. But I'm looking at all the people we're shouting out here, and I'm looking at the I'm looking at the current Sox roster, and part of me is wondering how many of
Yeah.
these guys are going to get shipped off. But at least I
Yeah.
feel a little bit more confident in what hopefully we'd get in return. But I don't know what gets. It's a jump ball on who you're going to get in a trade. But I see more better trade pieces to leverage at least if he goes that route.
Yeah, Getz is he's like desperately looking for guys to put on the 60 day. Like, come on, I gotta get more spots on the 40 man because I got 12 outfielders I need to bring up. Okay, Joe, what's jumping out at you that among the mighty knights?
Okay. So Rikuu Nishida is very interesting. He did get a mention from you just now. I am very, very surprised. At the lower levels of the minors, it was kind of hard to ignore that, he got on base a lot, hit a lot of singles, not a lot of extra base hits. Like, I think when he moves up in the system, this probably won't work. Like, pitchers will be more aggressive against him. They'll attack the zone. He won't walk as much. And overall, like, with as little power as he has, I really wasn't confident that he would be able to handle AAA, but he has entirely proven that wrong so far this year. So that is definitely worth following, for sure. Um, and gotta say, just overall for the Knights, they just had 8 players this week with an OPS of over 1,000. So basically, their whole lineup. Um, so it's kind of a tough question in that there are just so many options right now in terms of like players like, oh wow, they just had a really nice hot streak. And yeah, we'll see if the pitchers catch up. I guess I'll answer the second half of the question. Is there anyone I'm unhappy with? Yeah, I guess I'm gradually as time has gone on, I am getting further and further out on Jonathan Cannon. He just has been like really, really cold.
Mhm.
He appeared to be like a middle of the rotation starter, like
Mhm.
entering 2025. Granted, that was a
Yeah, like a year ago. Yeah.
yeah, like and that was granted a well below average rotation, but even still like yeah, definitely disappointing the how far he has fallen since then.
Kiang-Resis killing the buzz again. I like, man, I like to not be the only guy doing that. So thank you, Joe. Thanks for doing that. Worth mentioning Tanner McDougal, hurt, sort of the next man up, but we don't know if he's going to be the next man up. We don't know if he's going to have a second Tommy John. We don't really know. We hope not. Get well soon, Tanner. And I got to mention Oliver Dunn, technically the 100th best prospect in baseball, at least according to Fangraphs, because he's number 100 on the power rankings list. Hey, shout him out. He's playing some third base for the Knights. And for those of you, Joe's a math guy. He gets into these terms and stuff like that. Let me translate. Uh, 8 guys having a thousand OPS or better, that's good. You want that, and that's great. So, okay, let's move on to Birmingham, 13 and 14, tied for second. Southern League is 8 teams. Just it's weird. That's just the way they do it. They're tied for second place. They were sort of buried at the start of the season. They've crawled back to tie for second, but don't get too excited. Chattanooga Lookouts are extraordinary this year, and the several other teams all just sort of stink. They're all mediocre, like the AL Central. They're all within 2 games of one another. So let's not get too excited about them being in second place, but I guess I wouldn't say striking distance because Chattanooga's just run away. Um, Joe, I'll jump the gun and tell you, number 53 in the power rankings, your favorite and all of ours. Don't call him Sebi. Samuel Zavala has had himself a season so far. Nice power game. Seems like he's put it together more than he's done. He's been very young for every level. Even repeating high A, still real young. Didn't distinguish himself terribly well a year ago, but improved. And now he's looking like, oh, well, okay. I just needed to get to Birmingham, hitter's paradise in Birmingham to really show off my skills. So I'm guessing you're pleased. Not a 3 home run game yet, but I'm guessing you're pleased with the progress. Let's just get it out of the way. Pleased with the progress of Samuel Zavala.
Oh yes, you know very well. Yes, I am very happy with his performance. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he didn't waste any time. He got the Baron of the Week award in week one. And really hasn't slowed down much since then. Yeah, like with Winston-Salem just never really completely took off. Like okay, his on base percentages were high, but in terms of just like overall, was he making sharp contact? Like he would periodically, but not as often as I would have hoped, especially as one of the main pieces from the Dylan Cease trade, and someone who was right near the top of San Diego's farm system at that time. That was, yeah, I kind of thought that he'd be able to hit high A pitching very early on. Didn't really happen that way, but yeah, I suppose in last year he did, hit well enough to warrant starting the season in double A. Like it wasn't, I really wasn't sure which level he would start at, whether it was high A or double A. Neither one would have been a ridiculous decision in terms of where he was starting, but yeah, proving that he can handle the higher level, hitting far better than he did in either of his 2 years in Winston-Salem. Hard to not be happy about that.
Birmingham has had a number of other standouts despite being basically a 500 team. The White Sox are basically a 500 system, which is fine. We'll take it because that ain't what it's been basically since I've probably been a White Sox fan, certainly running Southside Sox and by proxy, Sox Populi Podcast Inc. Um, Hannah and Melissa, folks that you've jotted down or thought a little extra about in terms of Barons that have gotten you excited? Because, let's face it, Joe's going to talk about like all the downers. So we can leave that to him. Let's talk about some guys you're excited about in Double A for the White Sox because there have been some standouts.
I just want to say I am with Joe. I do have like my shout out list of like the people that I wanted to like give praise to, but I also have it's called my yikes list.
We're White Sox fans. You got to have that list. And what you got to do is try to keep it under control because it's way longer than the other list.
Yeah. So Joe, I'm with you. I have my yikes too. Yeah. In addition to Samuel Savala, I had Jacob Burke outfield too. Yay.
Can you believe it? Jacob Burke, virtually like out of the system, and now, oh yeah, he belongs. Sure.
I know. So that, yeah, he's pretty exciting. And then Shane Murphy, which I heard he's also getting the call up to Charlotte. I read somewhere.
It's a scary jump. But the thing about Shane, even though his numbers aren't, I mean, they're not going to be like last year because he was otherworldly last year at Double A. I want to say the ERA is like 3.99, but pitching a workman-like, I think he's averaging close to 6. You need that. If you're a White Sox pitcher, you got to be able to pitch some innings. He's doing that. Yeah, call well deserved. I don't know if that is also a signal that Tanner's going to be sitting for a while. He's definitely probably going to be sitting for a little, but sitting for a while. But yeah, that's exciting news as well. Yeah, good shout out.
It'll be a big test for him because we know how Charlotte goes for pitchers sometimes. So I mean, if he can just hold his own, he doesn't need to have like a 2.00 ERA, but if he can, ride around a 4 or so, like, yay, that's good. So those are my other guys.
Okay, Hannah, theoretically there are some players left for you. Who are they?
I had Shane Murphy on my list. Jackson Kelley's been good out of the pen. I mean, that was
The
one
one
that
Rule
caught my
5
eye.
pick that stuck.
Yeah, I was looking at this pitching. The Barron's pitching has been all over the place, and he's been one of the bright spots, which is nice to see. Um, On the other side, Jairo Iriarte, who could not hold his own at all in Charlotte, is doing really well in Birmingham. So
He
I
likes
think maybe
Birmingham.
maybe he should just stay there, or I don't. He says he's doing well. I would hate for them to bring him back up to Charlotte, and that would destroy
Mhm.
the momentum he's got and just his headspace where he's feeling good. Uh, but that's a nice surprise to see.
No kidding, it is. And I talk about another person, Jacob Burke. There are a number of sort of nice redemption stories here coming from different directions. Jacob Burke was a man. He was rising on our prospect list with a bullet, and then just boy hit a wall pretty badly. Uh, yeah, Hyro from the majors down to and then struggling even in Double A. So the fact that he's doing well this year with it, no, that's promising. Something will be redeemed from the Dylan Cease treat. It's got to happen. And, Joe knows, of course. Joe's going to tell us it's Sammy Zavala. Come on. But just somebody. Drew Thorpe, where are you? Please come back. Hyro and or Samuel, just somebody. Because trading Dylan Cease, you need something. You need something more than like a good mustache or a guy who like is professionally in high A or a guy who's jumping all over the place with a name that's hard to pronounce and was a starter and now he's a reliever and for a while there it seemed like he shouldn't even be a baseball player any longer. Yeah, those were the couple guys out of the pen. Kelley, no, there were two Kellys, two Jay Kellys in Birmingham, but our one, Jared, right? Not doing as well, but Jackson, okay. If one Kelly's not working out, Kelley with the EY, just pick up another Kelley. I wouldn't be surprised if that's Chris Getz's Rule 5 drafting strategy. Sorry, still not a fan. I know we're close to 500. Still not a
I
fan.
throw out my yikes, my two yikes, because they're both on our
Please.
top 30. Christian Opor and Gerald Perez are
Yikes.
neither one doing so hot. So
When it comes to the prospect lists, I know the whole game is like you're supposed to just put your finger to the wind and you're supposed to roll your I Ching sticks or whatever. And you're supposed to like come up with some magic that says, I just got a vibe about this guy. And I know, of course, eye test is a big part of that. So certainly scouts, et cetera, yes, you have an advantage on us who aren't always right in the middle there with the eye test. But then also sometimes you see some of this hype, and I'm not to pick on Opor, but I mean, it's been hyped from the start and has had a season to show for it. I mean, there's also that part where it's like you can't base it so much. Lucas Gordon he'll never be, anything. He's 5'10", he can't throw, what? Okay, but there's something to how guys perform. I know I emphasize way too much. I dog the system because they lose. And it's like, who cares? Wins and losses don't matter. Just make major leaguers. I get it. But, there's somewhere, at least I think you could call it halfway in between the hype, the prospect rate, the 20 to 80 system, and then like what do you do on the field? And you know, some of the guys that end up invariably moving up on our list, because you can't ignore even one good season gets you moving up with a bullet on our list and any other list. But then sometimes it's like, is this sustained? Is this sustainable? And yikes list is right because I hope settles down. We're talking about a month, so certainly Christian Oakmore has plenty of time to sort of settle down Double A. He's pitching young for that level. Still really hasn't got a ton of innings professionally under him. So there's still a very promising vista ahead. Let's hope, but sometimes we're just really quick to say this guy's like the best starter in the system. It's like, oh, okay, based on 18 starts. Okay, that's my editorial. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a break now. We're going to shift chairs, I believe, maybe even wardrobe shifts. Give Melissa a chance to clear the sinuses. Joe a chance to just, grind the teeth a little bit, see who else he's going to be mad about in A-ball. And Hannah will fit somewhere in between the yikes list and the hypes list. And I don't know, I'll keep talking and really saying nothing. But we'll be back in, I'm going to guess it's going to be like a minute or so. And we'll talk A-ball, probably not quite as long because, it's A-ball. And one of the teams might not really be worthy of too much talk, but perhaps my guest panel will prove me wrong because Joe is Winston-Salem Dash and Melissa is Kannapolis. So they might as well live there. They're so attached to those teams. So they'll have something to say about these teams. We'll catch you in a minute or two. Please come on back. We're going to talk more on the farm. It's on the farm 65. Back in a minute. Hey, White Sox fans, guess what? We're back. We're back on the farm. It feels like years. It's been months since we at Sox Populi have sat down and chatted with you about the system. We got all the good, interesting, near the major stuff out of the way in the first half. That would be AAA, the surprisingly close to 500 Charlotte Knights, and AA, the surprisingly not close to 500. Oh, yeah, they're just as close to 500. Quit picking on the Barons, Brett. Provided by Zoom. Not satisfied to have become a common noun in peer-to-peer video work. Now trying to squeeze every last penny out of you. Zoom, where podcasts will not be long for. Thank you, Zoom, for your free production that has now caused us to reconvene hours later. Somehow we're all still wearing the same clothing, basically in the same positions, the same level of hunger or satiation or whatever the word is. Anyhow, we're talking about single A now, and I really do need to stop talking. My name is Brett Valentini, hosting. Joe Kiang-Resis is our player of the week, player of the month, player everything guy. He's been doing that for at least a couple years now. Am I cheating you out of some years, Joe? No, I think just a couple years, right? That's right. That dirty rat, Darren Black, he just took off. He said, "Listen, I'm going out on a high note where the affiliates end up like 100 games below 500, and I'm going to take my leave." Joe slid right in. Fewer Kannapolis and affiliates ball caps than Darren, but overall, got to say, at least as valuable knowledge. And listen, because you're here, Joe, I'm going to say far more valuable than Darren Black. So take that, Darren, wherever you are. Melissa Sage Bolenbach, here repping the Kannapolis Cannonballers, knee intimidators. They're not doing much intimidating this year, so they're not doing much cannonballing either, but that sounds like a verb that needs an extra explanation. So I'll move on to Hannah Filippo, who sort of hangs with Charlotte, but, okay, touching all the affiliates. We all have to. I mean, some of us might, I don't want to touch all the affiliates, but we do sort of have to because we all do updates weekly, sometimes more than once a week. Oh, poor Melissa. Sometimes more than once a week. In fact, let's face it, Melissa, always more than once a week. But let's not emphasize that because then she's going to call Darren Black right now on the podcast and say, how exactly did you wriggle out of this? Because I'm sort of thinking really hard about that. Plus, yeah, there she goes. The phone's on. She's cleared her sinuses, so Darren will be ready to take the call. Oh man, can you think? Listen, this is a warning to all of you who may ever think about leaving Southside Sox and Sox Populi. I'm going to talk about you on podcasts. I'm going to do it. You think he's a nice guy? It's going to be glowing? Probably. Yeah, probably. You just keep thinking that. Okay, Winston-Salem, 16-11. That's still just good for second place. 16-11. Way to go, Winston. Especially after last year. Yikes. 16-11. Second place, just one game out, plus 24 run differential. I can't read my notes. I don't know. That's the best in their South Division. Even though they're in second place. Uh-oh, another manager is gonna get axed by Brett Ballantini, the White Sox podcaster with no power. Couple real big stars here. One who we knew, because everybody, I mean, the smart ones like us said Braden Montgomery was the number one prospect in the system. Okay. A lot of other people said Caleb Bonemer. I'm not mad about that because holy cow, what a first professional season. But also Colby Shelton. I'm not going to say like he was playing his way out of the system because he just got into the system, but did not have a good professional debut last year. But then when you look at the guy, you look at his pictures from Florida, he's a middle infielder and he's a monster. Of course he should be clubbing like a madman. He's buff, geez, I wish. Okay, so obviously Colby, on the Fangraphs top 100, Shelton is actually ahead of Bonemer, 18th prospect in baseball. But Bonemer, no slouch, 26th. Both guys who, could be moving up to Birmingham and leaving Joe sad because he'll have to cover a dash team with, I don't know, like no hitters. All right, just throw it out to the field. Talk to me about the Winston-Salem Dash, the one team we're pinning all our hopes to in the early going because they've broken out a winning record and a big turnaround from last year.
Yeah, it has been hard to believe. I will say Shelton was mostly off my radar to open the season. He was a sixth rounder last year who, only played about a month's worth of games and really was not impressive at all during that month. And he is incredibly slightly outpacing Bonemer in terms of his numbers this year. And Bonemer has been like he's even shattered the very high expectations that many people had for him. So it hasn't been, from, Bonemer slumping at all. Yeah, Shelton just keeps finding ways to get on base. He's already got 6 homers as well, 10 doubles. Really one of the most surprising stories for sure. And yeah, it's definitely something that I didn't see coming. Yeah, the Dash, of course, haven't, they've been a pretty underwhelming team the past couple of years, but yeah, they have definitely gotten off to a very, very hot start so far. And let's see. I'll also give a shout out to Boston Smith. He's started the year with Kannapolis, and it's been a couple of weeks since he's been promoted, but yeah, he's off to a very, very hot start there. Definitely has been a big contributor to the success that the Dash have had. Yeah, I thought that the promotion was like slightly early, like he wasn't exactly lighting it up in Kannapolis, but hard to complain about um, that promotion in any way, shape, or form right now. So yeah, overall they Dash have a lot of things going for them. Yeah, sure. Yeah, Bonemer and at this rate Shelton as well. Oh, they won't be at that level for that much longer, but yeah, they'll, probably, Barons are below 500. It's not looking too good in terms of, their three-peat opportunities, but maybe they'll contribute to it in the near future.
Yeah. Boston Smith realizing even though the two stars on the White Sox are catchers, and they have two-star catchers, right? That actually they may have zero catchers. So, there could be a clear path upward, new to this system. Boston Smith has hit the ground running, even with that unfortunate first name. Hannah, Melissa, thoughts on the powerful, mighty Winston-Salem Dash?
Yeah, I've been impressed with their infield, especially the left side of that infield is really nice to see. A lot of production coming from there. I will be the negative Nancy and say that I'm not impressed by George Wolkow, and I really hope he
Yeah,
turns it around. I'm really hoping that, everyone has different developmental trajectories and paths. I'm hoping that
yeah,
he's in the trough of his and he starts to come up towards the peak soon. But it is disappointing, especially no fault of his own. He got a ton of hype at the beginning
yeah.
of last year during spring training, so definitely probably isn't the best morale for him, I'm sure, but he's barely staying above water in high A, so I'll be curious to see if he can pull out of it and maybe get something going soon.
He is only 20.
George.
So
Yeah,
He is very young.
yeah,
I had him on my
yeah.
yikes list too. You have to be real. I mean, he's not having a good season, but then I was like, oh, like he just turned 20. So I'm hoping that some of it's just like growing pains, just still being a super young guy. And yeah, but
Yeah.
my special shout out is another 2025 draft pick, which is Gabe Davis.
Mm.
Um, he has made 5 starts, 1.69 ERA, 1.00 WHIP, 228.6 K percentage. That's pretty impressive. And he's like actually like gone, some like more than like 2 innings. So I think he's averaged like 3, sometimes has had 4, but so that's pretty good.
Gabe Davis, the lead art in Hannah's Friday recap. All these guys with these interchangeable names. It's always nice, even if you have to pull some from college. Like, oh, okay, so that's Gabe Davis. He points. He looks gritty. He looks like a grinder, but he's a pitcher. So, all right. Caleb Bonemer saying, "Oh, George Welko's just 20." Oh, okay. Uh, yeah, and it's no fair to say that Shelton has like passed Bonemer because Shelton being a 3-year collegian's like 9 years older than Bonemer, so it's only fair that he's actually like mashing as well. But given the start that he had last year, a little cup of coffee, probably tired or something. He plays in the SEC, so Lord knows they played 6,000 games in 2025. But yeah, nice to see that turnaround for sure. Anything else of note pitching wise? I mean, my notes are always very thorough, but I don't know. It's only fair. I let all of you speak. It's not because I don't really have anybody in mind, but uh, Gabe Davis, well done. Anybody else we need to shout out, or are the Dash making it in spite of their pitching? That's okay. We can pass on Dash pitching because we'll catch it in a month. Unlike last year at the end of the season when we didn't even celebrate a second Southern League title of the podcast, before Zoom decided to be stingy with us, we could have gone like for 3 hours or something, and now we can't.
I'll
So
speak
yeah,
when I
okay,
hear
wait,
Brett.
Davis is
yes,
certainly the MVP, I will say, for them pitching wise.
okay, that's
I'll
the
throw
voice
in
of
a
the Dash.
reliever name there. Eric McAtee's been pretty good
Hmm,
from out of the
yeah.
pen.
Hmm.
And 180 ERA, 12 strikeouts, 110 whip. I mean, it's early, but
Yeah,
any
it's
reliever
early.
any reliever shout out is worth mentioning, I figure, especially in
And
this game.
this is the White Sox system, and these are the White Sox. So yes, of course we need a caveat. It's early. We could say that for poor performances, like, hey, George Walker, it's early. No, 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 no. We've lived through this decade. No, we know that it's not a small sample size when it's bad. That's just the trajectory. But yeah, when it's good, you sort of got to Google it and say, well, okay, it's early. Let's see what May brings. Okay, let's. You know what? Heck with the dash. So they're for they got a winning record. The only affiliate team with a winning record. Actually, I don't even know what the Arizona team has done yet. We somehow neglected to cover the first two Arizona games. Sorry, everybody. I know you're all holding your breath for that. So they could be 2-0. I don't know. But the only winning team, the only real winning affiliate team. Yeah, well, this is a blow past the dash. Who cares? Sorry, Joe. Let's talk about Kannapolis. Awful team. 10 and 17, six. That's last place in I don't know, Southern Division, whatever it is. They're tied for the worst. I can't read my notes. What's the point of taking any notes? That's podcast hosting for you. Negative 12 run differential, just not a good team. I don't want to say let's just write them off because, it's right, it's early. I don't know. There's seven below 500 already. I don't know that there's like a lot of really heavy killer talent in the ACL waiting to come up and rescue them. So, we'll see. Okay, it's early. Um, I got no player notes for Kannapolis because, I don't know. I run out of time sometimes, or I don't know. I got to negotiate podcasting terms with Zoom or whatever. So, forgive me. Hey, everybody, pick me up here. Give me some highlights or lowlights of the Kannapolis Cannonballers. And I'm not necessarily just looking at you, the allergic Melissa Sage Bollenbach.
So I Jaden Fauski got to do the local kid. And for as young as he has been doing really, really well. So
Triples machine.
yeah, like he he walks a ton too. He almost has a 20% walk rate, which I mean for a young guy, right out
Mhm.
of high school, that's pretty darn impressive. And he had his first big league home run today too. So get that out of the way. But and he's also pretty versatile in terms of defensively where he's played. He's played a lot of all three different positions in the outfield, which is not what he did in high school, but
Mhm.
that's where they're
Yeah,
putting him.
catcher to center field isn't usually the move you make, but yeah, he's been playing some center field, sure.
And he's done really well. In right field, he has where he's been playing the most, and hasn't had a single error in right field. So I think it's always nice to see the kids right out of high school when they get off to a hot start. Good for their just their momentum and their growth when it starts out positive like that. So Jaden definitely has my standout there.
That's Melissa Sage Bollenbach on the Jaden Fauski beat. Joe and Hannah, you've got to have some thoughts on Kannapolis, and if you don't, I can't really blame you because I don't have any at the moment. So, what you got for me on Kannapolis?
Max Banks has been very good. I have not really talked much about any pitchers on this podcast, so I'm due to talk about one. Banks is certainly the most valuable pitcher on the Cannonballers right now. 26 innings already, got a 1.73 ERA, 28 strikeouts to four walks. That is very, very good. That sub 2 ERA is despite some pretty unlucky BABIP numbers as well, so perhaps hasn't even been getting overly lucky, to, have a, low ERA and a low sample size. I don't think that's even happening. He's just handling business very, very nicely. Yeah, that's a team that, overall, they have had a ton of question marks in the starting rotation, but, yeah, Banks has been extremely reliable for them. So definitely deserves a shout out there.
Max Davis, Gabe Davis, Joe Smith, Fred Smith. I mean, if you're a monosyllabic pitcher, White Sox are going to draft you, or they're going to pick you up as an undrafted free agent. That's just known fact. Hannah, tell me you got something about Kannapolis for me.
Yeah, I got Matthew Boughton on my list.
Oh yeah.
11th
Mhm.
round pick, doing better than unfortunately Billy Carlson, but I think that's kind of what people
Yeah.
expected from a glove first guy. But in his 10 games, he's got a 282 average and an 80% stolen base rate, which is not too shabby, and a 318 on base percentage. So I was been watching him and with the recaps and everything, and he's been fun to watch. He had his first homer the other day too, which is fun.
Billy Carlson's going to, I mean, let's hope not. Let's hope somehow he learns how to play wherever, but maybe it's shortstop. Of course, he already knows how to play shortstop, learns how to hit as shortstop because he may be one of the more unfortunate first round picks in like baseball history, given who, if we just keep speaking into existence, it will happen and the White Sox won't outsmart themselves. But, given who the 2026 first round overall first pick is going to be, it's not sort of like, hey, Billy, better find a new position or organization now, but it's just sort of not fortunate. The White Sox, as it is, are drafting like eight. I think part of the reason why we laughed at Jacob Gonzalez as the pick a few years back is because like we get shortstop being a primary position to pick because they can move around the field better than any. It's not really typical for a catcher to play center field. Okay, that's rare. So we get it, but at the same time, geez, come on, White Sox. But yeah, this whole back to back to back to back to back to back shortstops is humorous. Colson's got to be like, what? What? I'm like mashing homers. What are you picking all these shortstops for? What's going on? Um, hey, okay, this second half of the podcast is not going to be as long as the first, thanks to our friends at Zoom. That said, one speed round to end it because I just can't say goodbye yet. I love my farm podcasters so, so very deeply. So here is the challenge. It isn't necessarily a Charlotte question because White Sox have been known to go off the board to Birmingham. But what I need to know from each of you is who the next call, and it doesn't have to be a first time call up, who's the next call up from the minors to the major league roster. Obviously, they're sentimental favorites, knowing that the White Sox they're going to give Austin Hayes like every piece of rope possible and Luis Angel Acuna every rope possible and Tristan Peters and all the other generally homogenous guys that are somehow at 4A or in the major leagues for the White Sox won't necessarily be an outfielder, although some of you are allowed to pick an outfielder. Okay, who's it going to be? Next player up, because she is usually most prepared with scads of notes. She already knows who I'm saying. Melissa, you are first to make the pick for the next call up.
Oh man. Um,
I mean, you can pass. We just might not get you because Zoom might get cranky again.
yeah, gosh. Oh, I don't know. I do have
Well,
so many
neither
notes.
does Chris Getz, so you're okay.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I don't know. I'm just gonna
You know who he
go.
wants? It's Bergola because that's a Getz guy. He wants Bergola really bad, but Bergola's broken right now. So
I'm just gonna go rogue, and I'm just gonna go Rikuu Nishida, like totally
okay,
rogue.
okay, that's a good kind of rogue. I can get behind that because speed doesn't slump Riku. I mean,
Yeah,
we think we're jazzed about what Murakami's doing with the White Sox and the vibes and all that. Hey, no diss on him. Great vibes. His translator is a madman. Oh, talk about vibes. He's not even on the roster and he's bringing the vibes. But Riku comes up to the team. Forget about it. I might actually like the White Sox again if Riku gets the call. So I
yeah.
love that pick, Melissa.
Yeah, like I
Thank
could
you.
just see him in the leadoff spot and just like I don't know, just he's so fun, and this team is fun. They really are.
Yeah.
They're fun
Yeah.
bad. I mean, they might even be like fun mediocre. They might not even be like fun
Ooh,
bad now, like fun mediocre. So yeah,
ooh,
let's add.
man. Somebody's had 2 cups of coffee. Well, yeah, just can't wait for Riku to like he's gonna like luck it or just fall into like his first homer. His jersey's gonna be off by like second base. Yeah. And then he's gonna be chugging, he's gonna be like slamming a beer in the dugout, and then he'll get suspended or something. But then he'll be a folk hero. Oh my God. The t-shirts coming out of that. Breaking T, work on it. We need to pay Zoom, so work on it, Breaking T for us. Okay, I'm going to go up to black in the upper left corner for my view, and that's Joe Kiang-Resis. Please give me the next call up for the White Sox, and I'm sorry that Melissa took your guy.
I hope it is Nishida. That would be amazing. Far more exciting than my pick. Yes, I'm going to go with 28-year-old Oliver Dunn. He has been hitting very well lately. He plays all over the infield. That seems like a very White Sox-esque kind of
Sure,
move would be to call him up.
sure.
Defensive flexibility. And it at this rate, he who knows? Like 55 games is all he's played at the major league level in the past, and not very well for the Brewers. But uh, who knows? Maybe it'll be different this time,
Yeah.
and he might provide something of value that the current roster doesn't have at the major league level.
Well, two things, Joe. One, I don't really know his rookie eligibility. I'm sure Fangraphs doesn't care either, but let's it's worth reminding. Number 100 prospect in all of the minor leagues, Oliver Dunn. And let's also figure that the bar for Duns with White Sox is really low. He's probably already the best Dunn they've ever had. So that's a big plus for him too. People are going to be and then folks can bring their Dunn. People got excited when the White Sox were all in low those many years ago. Can bring their Dunn jerseys back out. I don't think that number's retired, so I think it might still be available. I don't remember Adam Dunn's number. Hannah Filippo, exciting or otherwise? We've got a range from Rikuu Nishida to Oliver Dunn. That's pretty. That's like Atmos stereo right there.
I'll sit right in
Um,
the middle. I'll go Ben
okay.
Peoples.
Oh well, you took my pick, so yeah, we're thinking the same. It makes sense. He's been up already, right? And it seems like it's going to be a bullpen guy, right? Because like they they don't have a lot of great arms, and they need it, and guys get hurt, and guys stink. So Ben
Yeah,
Peoples,
with all the people that they randomly claim off waivers, they've got to they got to get rid of a couple guys from Charlotte to make
yeah.
room for them. So, and
Yeah,
also the Sox always need arms anyway in that bullpen with how shaky it is. So I think Peoples will be the next one up.
because
Okay, Yeah, go
oh,
ahead, Melissa.
we also have a 28-year-old oft injured catcher Josh Bro, which I
Oh
learned
yeah,
I was doing. I was like,
bro.
what? What's this guy? Like, how long has he been here? Like, yeah.
Yeah,
What the heck?
yeah. All right. Normally, I would shift on the fly to go Wickelman Gonzalez as my pick because that's basically a Ben Peoples pick right there. Um, but I'm going to say, off the fumes of naming him their pitcher of the month in the minors, and because it does not seem he's going to necessarily get it together to start, I think they bring up Hagen Smith and they're going to run him out of the bullpen. Because why not? Let's pick an interesting, and it's sort of a stupid, but who knows, could be brilliant thing the White Sox would do. Absolute gets move, especially because, again, he can't bring Bergola up yet. And I think technically he's already up. He might be traveling with the team, but they can't announce it because, his knee's still sore or I don't know. He's got to have no, it's just rehab. What it is, it's rehab. He's gonna have a rehab stint, even though he's not in the major yet. He's rehabbing at Charlotte right now because, Getz is just dying for it. He is dying for 9 Getzes on maybe 8. You need to have like one really like Mooney. He's safe. He's safe. But 8 other guys who are just like Getz. See, Chris, you can't escape. Of course, you haven't been 500 all year, so you're not going to escape. And even when you get over 500, I don't know that you're going to escape. Anyhow, I don't know. We might not do podcasts anymore because, Zoom is being really challenging these days. So, hey, farewell. Sorry, we just did a one and done, a one and Oliver done for the Sox Pop on the Farm, number 65. But sorry, we might not be back. Or we'll find another platform, or we'll just deal with the fact that Zoom's being so sticky. You'd think it's just like free promotion, but nope, not when the host keeps dogging you. Is word getting to Zoom? Are they listening? Are they watching? Well, probably not. I don't know. But 50 or so viewers, maybe one of them will view from Zoom, and maybe they'll give us a special out. Or we'll find an angel sponsor to sponsor our podcasts. Anyhow, on behalf of Sox Populi, the fans' first sports network, and sort of by proxy, not allowed to really say it, but why not? Let's not pretend. Southside Sox and our friends at SB Nation who dropped our podcast years ago. Wow, I'm really looking to retire as host permanently. Perhaps we should stop this podcast so I don't really get fired. Melissa Sage Balubach, thank you so much for fighting the allergies. Welcoming in beautiful spring. Is it spring? Winter? I don't even know what it is in Chicago. Welcoming spring in, early summer, something. It'll get warm at some point, Melissa. So you have the faith. You'll get out to the park and not have to wear a parka, ladies or men's, to the ballpark. Hannah Filippo, Thank you for taking the time. Sorry for the extended break in between sections. Joe, Kiang-Resis, please keep the great work you're doing up for us. We have, if I'm smart, I'll link it, but I don't know. I'm very easily flummoxed and flabbergasted. So I might not, but if not linked in this podcast copy, please check out his monthly piece at Southside Sox. Colby Shelton reigns supreme in Joe's eyes for April. And of course, the weekly. You can catch that every week. So that better be a regular thing you're already doing. But every week, check out Joe's picks of the week, all 4 levels. Oh, sorry, Joe. It's going to be a 5th now. All 5 levels. Extra work for Joe Kiang-Resis, which, come on, the guy's just waiting around for stuff to do. So give the guy some more work. Thanks to all 3 of you for joining me. We'll do this again. I predict in a month, providing our podcast is still extant. So we will see you perhaps in very late May or early June for our next farm podcast. Perhaps we will wear more appropriate farm attire next time around. Word on the street was Hannah was already trying to sniff out some affiliate caps. Who knows? We may see her in one as soon as the next podcast. Shout out to Darren Black. See, you guys leave. It's dicey. I just would say don't do it, but all right, teach their own. You all have your own ability to be whoever it is you want to be. And what we are is Sox Populi, Southside Sox, every night, but one, not Mondays, every night, minor league updates. Sometimes they're early, sometimes they're a little late. Usually when I'm writing them, sort of late. Hey, hang with us. It's more comprehensive than you're going to find anywhere else. Joe Kiang-Resis kills it on it, especially if there's a University of Indiana product involved. Hannah Filippo kills it. Melissa Sage Bolenbach, she's got no choice but to kill it because she's killing herself doing, I don't know, word on the street is a couple of weeks, but that can't be. Who would take that on? So it must just be one, and then she fills in some because 2 a week just seems absolutely bonkers. But thanks for doing that. Whether intentional or not, thank you for making that mistake, Melissa, because it is well appreciated, particularly right here from the host. Okay, catch you guys in a month. Thanks for watching, reading, all that, and we'll be covering the minors. You be following us, and we'll talk to you in 1 month's time.